Oh my god, time for a new video. Okay guys, so today we are traveling back in time to when weapons were not as powerful and when you couldn't necessarily kill people in one goddamn spec. Right now on Runescape, the HP system has been changed, as you guys all know and aware of this. Well, you guys should be, otherwise you guys are probably on like Mars or some shit like that, playing Runescape and like, well, since the, light travels, it takes light a long time to actually get to Mars, then you would probably be playing RuneScape sometime a couple 100 years ago or something around, the time of like that. But the new HP update, the HP changes and the HP name change and the HP look itself. So Jagex more or less changed it because they felt too many weapons were overpowered, and not necessarily. I mean, listen, I've been spec'd out a whole bunch of time, guys, and I'm not really want to talk about the HP update so much, but all I gotta say is that they more or less changed it because new weapons are coming out, like as you guys see in Dungeoneering, and they wanted people to not necessarily kill people so much in one spec. Now, like I said before, I myself, I've been spec'd out by Dragon Claws, I've been spec'd out by Bandos God Swords, let alone any type of God Sword. I've been killed by ranging motherfuckers who like to use special ruby bolts or some shit, or emeralds or whatever the hell they use, and they more or less just, they hit a 58 on me, which is now a 580, but it's still, 58. That's kind of high. How many of you guys remember the old style of PKing? When PKing used to be with whips and let alone dragon scimitars, or scimitars, the skimmies, the fucking things you hit with, scimitars, right? Yeah, dragon scimitars, then dragon longswords, then a rune scimitar, and let alone people used to just kill each other with whips. I remember going into the wild back in like 2007, and I remember I just saw these two high levels fighting each other with whips. And then when the HP got really low on one of the players, they used a dragon dagger and just specced him out. You no longer really can do that. You can do that, but now it's just there's so many forms of different style of PKing and things that people do. They change from melee to range, then they just, they barrage the shit out of you like they do to me, and then they trap you, then they teleblock you, then they fuck you, then they throw you out the window, and then they kill you. So a lot of shit has changed. I remember when whips used to be the prime use of training method. Everybody would buy a whip for training. Well, everyone would more or less use dragon skimmies back then to train strength, but now there's so many different ways you can actually train strength and train other combatable skills. You don't have to necessarily just use whips and stuff. But that brings me to another point of, yes, stuff is too overpowered now. Like, how many of you guys have really been killed in PvP by just a couple specs, or let alone one spec? So if you got killed by one spec, then things are kind of powerful, a little bit overpowerful, but then you can basically say, well, get your hit points level up, or constitution level, whatever the hell it's called, whatever you want to call it. But then again, you really shouldn't have to get your HP level up, because things really shouldn't be that powerful. But there is one sword that you get from Dungeoneering now, or a maul or something, I forgot the name of it, but I know that the strength on it is like a plus 207. The God Sword has a plus strength of like, what, 135 or something like that, or 160? So this thing hits higher than a God Sword. So you're talking about either one-hitting some people, let alone just two-hitting people. And the old style of RuneScape, when you would go into PKing, HP, you would monitor HP, but it would be like, oh yeah, I hit a 30, okay, I can wait till you hit a shark or something. Now, if somebody hits you, you're like, basically like this. Eat! Oh my god! Press the button and eat! You're like that because you never know what he's gonna hit. And if he hits like a 50 on you and your HP is only like 86 like mine is, then you kind of need to press the eat food like 2 times. And you're already down 2 pieces of food. So therefore, it's not so good sometimes. But then again, having overpowered weapons could have its ups and it could have its downs. Like, for example, new bosses on RuneScape, harder to kill, so therefore they have to come out with better weapons. But then again, it would be really funny to see people just, kill bosses with just a whole bunch of whips like they used to. Imagine if God Swords never came out, and we still had whips and stuff, and whips was everybody's primal weapon. Now, like, everyone wants a god sword, or everyone wants the new dungeoneering swords or something like that to just walk around with. I remember the time when everybody has a whip. You would turn around, oh, there's a whip, oh, there's a whip, oh, yep, a whip in front of me. Everyone had a whip. Kind of looked like they're dicks or something, but everybody had a whip. But to be honest, guys, from my opinion and from my experience, some items are really just too big and too overpowering. That's what she said. But I'm not so much trying to be funny here in a way. I'm trying to actually kind of be serious. Is that there are a lot of weapons on RuneScape that are very overpowering to the average player. Now, to monsters, yes, we do need better weapons to face some bosses, but then how much of a better weapons do we really need? I mean, when God Wars first came out, everyone was basically fine just using whips on the bitches. And some people, you know, they would use dragon scimitars and shit like that. But now, more or less, people go God Wars, they're either ranging with really good shit, like a hand cannon or something like that, or they just bring a team with God Swords, and they can just stay there for a very long time. But if they more or less were using dragon scimitars or whips, then I don't think they would be there for a very long time, guys. But I really want to hear from you guys now. So leave me a dirty little comment or a video response basically telling me if you guys think that weapons are overpowered on RuneScape. Now, there has been a ton of talk about Dragon Claws still being overpowered, and I'm pretty sure RuneScape lowered the spec on Dragon Claws to just one spec on the bar. The special bar is just one spec. It used to be 2 specs, or I pretty sure it used to be 2 specs when I had them when they first came out. But now I'm pretty sure they lowered it to 1 spec. And to be honest, they can't really lower any more stuff. But there are going to be newer weapons coming out in the future. So does that mean they might have to increase the hit points maybe to like 120 or something like that? Because Dungeoneering now is a level 120, and Jagex could say, let's just increase hit points to 120. Next thing you know, they're increasing everything to 120. And I need to get everything to 120 then, because I have 99s. Now I need to get everything to 120, let alone lose my fucking mind. But I hope you guys enjoyed going back on memory lane when the good old RuneScape, when you didn't have necessarily shit being so much overpowered and stuff. The average person with less than 10 mil could have a fair fight. But now, more or less, it's who has the more money to actually buy better weapons and equipment. See what I'm saying? But that's really all I got, guys. Like I said, leave me a nasty little comment if you got something for me. Also, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys later.